In the land of Umuaka, the people gathered to bury Papa Nnaka, a man whose life was bound to the soil. He was known as a hard-working farmer, one who rose before dawn and only rested when the sun slipped behind the cashew trees. His sweat fed not only his family, but also neighbors who sometimes went home with yams or palm oil from his barn. He was generous, stubborn, and proud of his heritage. Papa Nnaka was a man people respected. In his final years, sickness weakened him. A stubborn cough drained his strength, and his once strong frame became frail. Yet, even in those days, he sat under the mango tree, pointing at ridges and seedlings, telling his younger son, Obinna, what to plant and where. That land was his pride, the ground on which his life had been written. And it was in that same compound, close to the land he loved, that he breathed his last, one quiet night. He left behind his widow, Mama Nkechi, her hair grey and her shoulders bent from years of labor. He left behind two sons whose lives had taken very different paths. Okafor, the firstborn, tall and proud, who had built a name for himself in Lagos as a wealthy businessman, and Obinna, the younger, humble and devoted, who stayed close to the village and his father's farm. Each son had a wife. Ngozi, Okafor's stylish and outspoken wife from the city, and Amara, Obinna's plain but fiery partner who defended her home with her tongue as much as with her hands. On this day of his burial, as the rain poured on umbrellas and wrappers, the village gathered not only to mourn a man, but also to witness the beginning of a new chapter. For though Papa Nnaka's body was at rest, the land he left behind was not. It will soon become the battleground where love, loyalty, and greed would collide. A land that would test the unity of the sons he had raised. The rain refused to stop that day. It beat hard on umbrellas, soaked wrappers, and turned the red earth into thick mud. Women held their clothes tight as they moved around. Men stamped their feet, trying to shake off the dirt. The smell of wet sand mixed with the smoke from cooking fires. Among the crowd was Obinna, the younger son. His palms were sore and covered with blisters because, before the burial, he had dug his father's grave with his own hands. He wanted to give his father that last respect. Later, a convoy of cars drove into the compound. People turned their heads. From the first SUV stepped Okafor, the eldest son, tall and proud in his flowing agbada. His wife Ngozi followed closely, holding her bag with the air of a city woman who measured everyone with her eyes. As the coffin was lowered, their mother, Mama Nkechi, broke down. She screamed, her body shaking. Both sons reached out to hold her, though their hands touched, but their eyes did not meet. When the burial was over, food and drinks were shared. People filled their plates with rice, meat, and palm wine. The rain had slowed to a drizzle. Children ran barefoot in the mud, their laughter clashing with the sorrow in the air. It was at this time, while people still ate, that Okafor spoke. He pointed towards the wide stretch of land behind the compound. Cashew trees stood tall at the boundary, and the stream at the far edge gurgled softly. This land had been idle for too long, Okafor said confidently to a group of men. Developers are ready to buy it. With the money, Mama will move to Lagos. Obinna can start something better. Everybody will gain. Obinna, who was passing with a tray of water, stopped. His face tightened. The tray shook slightly in his hand. That land, he said slowly, was Papa's pride. You don't sell land that carries your father's sweat. That ground is not for sale. The group went silent. Chief Okeke, the oldest man present, raised his hand. This is not the day for a quarrel. We will meet again. But at that moment, everyone knew a storm had begun. 2 weeks later, the family gathered under the mango tree in Chief Okeke's compound. The elders sat on wooden chairs, chewing kola nuts. Young boys lingered at the corners, waiting to run errands. Okafor stood tall. Brothers and elders, he said, our father was a man of progress. He sent me to Lagos to make something of myself. If he were alive, he would want us to use this land to bring development. I have investors. With the money, Mama will be comfortable. My brother will no longer suffer on the farm. Obinna rose slowly. His shirt was plain, his voice calm but firm. Our father also said many times, land is like a name. You don't sell it when money is hungry. I farm that land. My sweat is there. If we sell it, what will we show our children when they ask where we come from? Ngozi laughed mockingly. Sentiment cannot pay bills. What good is land when it is just growing cassava and wheat? We need to think bigger. Amara, Obinna's wife, leaned forward. Thinking big is good, but thinking wisely is better. You don't sell the womb that gave you life. The elders shook their heads. They postponed the matter, warning both sides to keep off the land until a final decision was made. Okafor left with a tight smile. Obinna left with a heavy heart. Back in Lagos, Okafor wasted no time. He met with Sunrise Estate, a property company. They offered him millions. He signed a preliminary agreement. Not yet a sale, he told himself. Just the first step. Meanwhile, in Umuaka, Obinna doubled his work on the land. He rose before dawn, hoe in hand, his sweat dripping into the soil. He planted cassava, maize, and yams. Every ridge was his silent message. This land is alive. This land is ours. But one afternoon, Amara found wooden pegs stuck into the soil. Her heart pounded. She yanked them out, shouting, "Who put these here?" That evening, a white pickup truck drove in. Two men in helmets carried measuring tapes. "Good evening," one said politely. "We are here to take coordinates." "For who?" Obinna asked. They showed him a paper with the letterhead of Sunrise Estates. Obinna's voice hardened. The elders gave instructions. "No survey. Leave this place now." The villagers gathered quickly. Their presence enough to make the men retreat. Their trucks' tires left angry marks in the dust. Days later, court papers arrived. Okafor had sued to force the land to be sold. Soon after, disaster struck. One morning, Obinna's farm was destroyed. The ridges were flattened. Cassava cuttings pulled out. Maize trampled. It was the work of men, not spirits. Amara cried out, holding her head. Neighbors gathered in anger. Okechukwu, the village hunter, shouted, "Let's confront Okafor." Obinna raised his hands. "No, we will not turn the farm into a battlefield. We will rebuild." That evening, voices clashed at a community meeting. People accused, people defended. In the middle of the chaos, Mama Nkechi screamed and collapsed. They rushed her to the clinic. The nurse said it was stress and high blood pressure. She lay on the bed, a drip by her side. Obinna sat by her, head bowed in prayer. Okafor came later, standing by the door, silent, shame flickering across his face. 2 days later, surveyors returned, this time under police escort. When they placed a peg, Amara rushed forward, yanked it out and shouted, I said no. A man pushed her aside. Villagers shouted. Sticks were raised. Stones thrown. A truck's headlight smashed. Police sirens wailed. They took names and statements but left nothing solved. That night, Okafor called Obinna. What do you want? He asked coldly. Peace, Obinna said. At the cost of everything? At the cost of greed. Obinna ended the call. 3 days later, Chief Okeke summoned both brothers. He brought out an iron box and a sealed envelope in Papa's handwriting. If my sons quarrel over the land, read this. The letter inside was short but clear. The land behind my house shall be for Obinna to keep for the family, because he stayed with me in my old age. Okafor, my first son, I bless you, but do not sell this land. Use it together for good. Remember your mother. It was signed and witnessed by their lawyer, and the cat kissed. Okafor froze. His chest tightened as memories rushed back. His father's calls he ignored, the weekend he refused to come home, the money he sent instead of presents. He gave it to Obinna. He whispered, shame heavy in his voice. That night, Okafor told Ngozi, I bribed a relative to lie in court. I abandoned Papa. Tomorrow I'll go to Obinna. In the morning, he walked alone to Obinna's house. No convoy, no pride, just him. I was wrong, he said simply. They sat on the porch in silence for a while. Then Okafor continued, I will cancel the deal. I will withdraw the case. But let us do something together. Something in Papa's name. Obinna's eyes softened. Yes, let's build a health post on the land. The letter said it is for the family. Let it serve the people. They shook hands. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. At the next court hearing, Okafor stood and withdrew his case. The judge smiled faintly. The court is pleased when brothers choose wisdom. Soon, the Nnaka Memorial Health Post was born. Okafor provided the funds. Obinna gave the land and organized workers. Amara cooked for them, and even Ngozi came with coolers of food one afternoon. On the day of the foundation, Okafor spread the mortar and Obinna tapped the block into place. The crowd clapped. Mama Nkechi, frail but smiling, whispered, this mortar smells like peace. Months later, the clinic stood with white walls, green windows and a veranda where mothers sat with babies. On dedication day, the first patient, a boy with a cut from a bicycle, walked out smiling with a bandaged foot. By the stream later, Okafor asked softly, do you think Papa can see this? Obinna replied, he feels it, like the earth feels footstep. At the entrance of the clinic, they placed a stone. Land is not for selling, it is for holding the living, in honor of Nnaka and Rinze. Children traced the words with their fingers. Villagers nodded quietly. The quarrel became a lesson, not a shame. And when the rains returned, the land did what land does when it is kept instead of sold. It carried memory and gave the future a place to stand. Thank you for watching this story. What lesson did you take away from this story? Share your thoughts with me in the comments. Give this story a like, share this story with your loved ones, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so by now. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next story. And remember, every tale carries a lesson if only we choose to listen. Until I bring another true life tale your way, bye-bye.